So what you have in front of you is kind of a little tool that my professor gave me. I don't know how much people use it. I use it all the time, and mainly for my cattle record keeping system. If I want my bulls out with my cows to have calves on March 1st, what number corresponds to March 1st on what this is called a Julian calendar? 60, that's right. So that's the day I'm hoping to get calves, right? All right, what if I have calves on day 54? They just came early, right? Gestation length is not always something the animal reads the book on and follows. So I actually love to see cows that are having calves at day 54, meaning they've got a short gestation. That gets me more calves on the ground year after year. It gives her more time to cycle again and get another calf for the next year. All right, so that's how you read that. As far as that calendar, I'm going to tell you that in this scenario, we've got a calf born on day 1 of March, and we had one born on April 30th. Okay, so what's April 30th date, corresponding date on here? 120, so we had a starting day of 60 and an ending date of our calving season at 120. What was my length of my calving season? 60 days. So if I left the bull out 60 days, do you think that's really what's going to happen? No, those gestation lengths, right? I used this story in the last group. When I started AIing, it's like my first year in college and went back to the farm. I had 2 cows. I started out with 1, went to 2 cows, so forth. Well, when I learned AI, I had 2 cows. Bred them on the same day, they calved 14 days apart. Same bull, they were highly related to each other, but 14 days apart. Both of them were heifer calves, but one baked it a little bit longer. All right, so you've got those scenarios that happen every year, and so what this tool does is we're going to wean that calf that's born on 4/30 at a minimum 140 days. Okay, so how would we know what date that is? September 17th. Could be the first day I could wean the whole group. So does everybody wean their calves on the same day, or do you wait till they're 205 and then wean them off one at a time? No, I'm going to do one day and give my vaccines and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that explains on how to use that tool. Like I said, to me, I put that in my cow's record keeping system. So if she has one on day 60 and then she moves down into 54, man, I might want to think about keeping any heifer she has, right? Because she's one that's very reproductively efficient. Letter systems. There is an international year letter for putting on tags. This one actually has some numbers on it right now. This is our OQBN tags that we issue. They come in 2 colors. We've phased out the yellow one and finally got smart and went to orange, like for OSU colors, right? The international year letter for 2019 should be the same for everybody. So what letter are we using for 2019? Letter G. So any calf born after January 1 of this year, I'm going to put a letter G on that tag somewhere if I'm writing it on with a marker pen, kind of a permanent marker pen. I got taught to use a 4-number system. So the first number on my cattle would be the year number. So I would have a 9001. First calf born would be 9001, and then it'd have a letter G. And I do have a tattoo that can handle 5 different digits. Most of them have 4 digits that you buy in, say, a Tractor Supply. So you may want to rethink your numbering system and include that letter. So my first calf may have been 901G instead of the 5-digit number system. So that's kind of what I had you do on page 2, to think about how you want to use some kind of identification system and keep it simple. So for me, it's real easy to know a cow was look at her first digit number and see how old she is in a lot of ways. You know, and I can always back it up with the letter system because I do not memorize the letters and the years as easy as I do the numbers, okay? And then the other aspect of what I'd like to do is think about my family, that for some reason I get sick and they need to go out and take care of it, and they say that calf so-and-so is sick. Well, can you pair them up? I like to write the cow's numbers maybe on the backside because those calves usually are running away from me. And so I can usually read it, those animals going away. So I like to put it on the back, but the individual animal itself needs to be on the front side. You can do it multiple ways. I've seen people like purebred operations, they'll have the sire on one side of that tag and then the dam on the other. It can all be on the front, But boy, that gets really kind of confusing in a lot of ways. But like I said, I like putting the cow's number on the back because that calf usually is running away from me. All right, you're passing one tag around, and it is called a EID tag, and these are different scanners that I have available. This one was kind of the original all-flex reader, really cheap, somewhere around $200–300. That one in your hands, I would say more veterinarians that have both a small animal practice and a large animal practice comes in handy because it can read both the tag that are passing around and chips, which is on the bottom of this. Everybody see this little it looks like a thermometer in there? That's the size of that chip. They sent it to me as a package deal just for a demonstration purposes. We could read that inside, say, a dog, right? So do we use chips for cattle?
Good.
You could. We do not recommend it because of BQA practices, meaning that that chip can migrate. And so that is a product that is a foreign material, for example. So most beef cattle people don't utilize a chip. Horse people do, cat and dog owners would. It makes a lot of sense for that. I do know goat producers do use that little chip. And again, it can migrate. They usually put it in the tail. So hopefully it does get taken out when they process that animal. But that's our concern there. The first 3 digits on an electronic tag are either the company's number, assigned number, like Allflex's number, or you'll see a lot of times it'll say 840. The United States of America is assigned the 840 tag. Say Great Britain might be number 1, for example. I don't know what it is, but each country has an assigned number. Knowing that I'm going to have 20 calves every year, I may order 20 tags, and that's usually what kind of the minimum order is. I could do that custom-wise. I've gone to the blank ones that still have this number. This part's blank, and I could write another set of numbers on there for myself. So just in case I don't have 20 calves, then I've not wasted that tag. So jumping into the ID system into the DNA component. So this is what they call a tissue sample unit. So when a calf is born, it's an excellent chance or opportunity to do one of these actual individual tissue samples. It's got a number associated with it. It could match the tag we just showed you, okay? All right, and so it basically pokes a hole in that calf's ear, just like a normal ear tag does, but a piece of that tissue goes in that tube.
So you're loading this thing in there?
Yes, that's correct. So it's not much different than a lot of taggers. It pokes that hole through there. This swivels a little bit to lock that sample unit. I've not used it at all yet, so I'm interested to use it. I've usually done hair or blood samples instead, but that is going to be the least chance of contaminating going from animal to animal. Okay. It pushes the sample directly into it. Now, one person asked me, "Can you do BVD testing off that sample?" And you would need a separate sample to do that as well. So parentage is usually one of our cheaper tests, somewhere around $14 if that's all you wanted. More comprehensive, where we're talking about somewhere between 15 to 20 different DNA marker tests. So if we want to find something like their weaning weights or birth weight EPDs that enhance what they currently have, you're looking at somewhere around $35 to $40 for that comprehensive. Now, when you do that, you will get the parentage thrown in there, okay? And for example, some of our breeds are finding what they call genetic conditions. So developmental duplication, for example, an extra limb on an animal, all right? There might be carriers and other ones that are free of that condition. And so that can be a single test, just like you're asking. If you just want that specific test, it'll be a price, but sometimes it can be included in one of those comprehensive ones as well.